Welcome back, everybody. I hope you are all having a fantastic week here so far, and I hope that you've had a great last month, because that's about how long it's been since we have done one of those videos. So Tyler here, coming back with you guys with another edition of Diaries of a Bodybuilding Dad. If this is your first video that you're watching of this series, I definitely go ahead and encourage you to head down to kind of that comment section. I've got links for all of my videos in this series, so I definitely just encourage you to go back to the beginning, watch those through, and then get caught up with this one. But for all of those of you that have been following along, yes, it has been a while since we've done one of these. The biggest reason being that there really just hasn't been a whole lot to report, and I know I've said it before, I'm definitely not someone to try and manufacture something just for the sake of putting it out there. That's not something that I can do or like to do, and that is part of the reverse. I think the biggest thing, I kind of want to touch on this week, and something that I've really been thinking a lot about, over the last few weeks, is that this is definitely not the sexy part of the journey, right? Of looking and wanting to achieve a physique. Everyone is always focused on their diet, or how hardcore they're going, or their next show, or this and that. And we always see those pictures of people in six-pack abs and all this kind of stuff, and that's what it's all about to everyone. And you don't really see a lot of the people just slogging through their off season 1 year, 2 year, 3 years in, and just putting in the work to try and achieve a physique. And so, sometimes it is hard to really kind of go, hey, look at me, and in my reverse, like, look how awesome this is, because a lot of the times as we get into it and we're going through maybe a longer reverse and a longer off season, I'm a big believer in a point that, we should reach a point where it's kind of the same old, same old. Not to say that we, get into a funk, or, we're not pushing ourselves, during this, but more so it's, yep, did my training, ate my food, had good sleep, and that was it, right? And that's really what a reverse is just making sure that we're doing kind of all of these things on a regular basis, and it does almost get a little bit boring. But this is such an important part of, actually obtaining a physique and making, your dieting phases, I don't want to say necessarily easier, but it does, I think, make dieting a bit easier the longer we can reverse, the more muscle that we have, the more food that we can start a diet with, the less cardio that we've been doing. All of those things are just going to really contribute to, having those successful dieting phases, and, at the end of it all, help us actually achieve our goal of, achieving this physique that we have in our minds, right? That, we kind of almost obsess with a little bit. It's like, okay, like when I'm at the gym, it's like, yeah, one day I'm going to look like this. One day and we have this picture in our mind. And, a lot of the times, we definitely do spend most of our time trying to diet to that physique, and not taking the boring route and the unsexy route of just eating food, lifting heavy weights, sleeping well, and living life and loving life as well. And I think that's something really important to consider, and something that I've been spending a lot of time thinking about, in so much the fact that I'm thinking about potentially pushing back my timeline for when I want to compete and even potentially diet this summer. This is something that I haven't quite talked about with my coach yet, but the main reasons being is exactly those, kind of at the end of the ones that I listed. Those reasons there is living life and loving life. And for me, and where I'm at in my life at the moment, I don't think dieting and down the road then prepping that early is probably going to be the most beneficial for me and my happiness. And that's something that is really, really important to me, is making sure that I'm doing things in my life that are going to make me happy. And with just this year, my wife is on mat leave. We've had our first kid. And COVID is kind of thrown in there as well, and the fact that, we just haven't really been able to do anything. And, to have this opportunity in Canada, my wife is able to take a full year off for maternity leave. we have this unique opportunity as things start to open where she doesn't have to, take time off from work. We don't have to worry about those type of things, and we can just go. And so we've been talking a lot about this, and things are starting to open up here a little bit more, and we know that we want to take advantage of this time and go spend time with our daughter before she starts daycare, in November, December, and me and her then, start getting back to our regular lives of, working full time, both of us, and all the busyness that is going to come with that. We just know we're not going to get this opportunity again, this unique opportunity, especially with our daughter being an only kid at this moment. I'm not saying that we are planning on having a second. It's always an option down the road, but it's a very unique opportunity, and something like dieting this summer is just probably not going to be conducive to that type of life. When we travel, we like to go out and eat, we like to explore, and I don't want to have any restrictions. I don't want to have to be, oh no, I'm tracking my macros, oh no, I can't do this, I can't go out for that food, I can't have that food. To me, that's not the point of this journey, right? Is to make sure, to always be sacrificing or to, prioritize my physique over certain life experiences. And I'm not saying that is the only way to go. I mean, I definitely do think that people need to focus on that a little bit more than we do consistently dieting. I think that is a part of the issue of why people don't have a lot of success, is because they have a hard time finding that balance and they feel like they have to be extreme. But for it's what's best for me, it's what's best for my family, and it's what is probably going to make me the happiest at this moment and down the road. That's not to say that I'm not going to compete next year. I still think that is a very viable thing, but I want to make sure that I am doing it for the right reasons. I'm not forcing the issue, and I'm doing it at the right time for me and for my family. Again, like I said, in January, December, Quinn is going to be starting daycare for the first time. My wife is going back, Steph is going back to work again, and there's going to be a lot of big adjustments going on, and because competing for me is not, on the totem pole of important things in my life, it's not very high up there. It's very easy for me to push that back. Again, it's still something that I'm going to do, and I still think it's going to be a great challenge, and it's something that I'm excited about, but it's not something, that I am willing to force into my life if it's not the right time. And I think, that's the important thing that, we need to understand, not just myself, but, for my clients as well, is if you're just not ready, then that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with not being ready to diet for whatever reason it might be. You've got things coming up this summer that you don't want to have to be super strict with your macros on or whatever. That is totally fine. That's your prerogative. It's your life, and it's up to you to make sure that you're doing, what you can to make sure that you're happy and you're living a life fulfilled. And there is nothing wrong with not dieting, not prepping, not doing those type of extreme things if you just feel at the end of the day that's not the right timing for you to do those things. Again, I mean, making that decision is, in my eyes, with a lot of people that I talk to, it's a very I can't think of a better word for it, adult decision, right? It's recognizing that, I can't have this in my life right now as much as I would like to maybe do it, or it would be, beneficial or what have you. If it's just not the right moment, there's nothing wrong with stepping back and waiting just a little bit longer, because, these experiences should add to our lives. They should not take away from our lives. And when we are jumping into something that hardcore and that much of a diet, we need to make sure that we're not just ready physically, but we're ready mentally and emotionally as well. And as well as anybody else that is very important to us, are they ready for us to go through that as well? And so this was a decision that I kind of made, with Steph. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it is my decision, and I know she's going to support me no matter what. But I think throwing out those thoughts of, I know we want to do this summer. We want to go away this summer a few times with with Quinn. And, you know, if I'm dieting, you know, it's going to be hard to do those type of things, you know, the way we like to do those and have those memories and have those experiences. So, yeah, I think, you know, just what I kind of ended here before I just continue to ramble on is, you know, make sure you are ready. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with taking a step back and waiting a little bit longer if you just feel that you're just not quite ready to do it, or you just are not quite 100% sure, because you can always diet more down the road. And if you're a competitor, the stage isn't going anywhere. I mean, they held competitions last year, throughout all of last year. Yes, the majority of them were canceled, but they still had competitions last year. This stage is always going to be there. And so quit trying to force it. Quit trying to force the diet. If you're just not ready, take the time to get ready, mentally, emotionally, physically, and you are just going to thank yourself a lot more down the road that you waited, because you waited till you were in alignment with your goal, whatever that looks like. So take your time, guys. Don't rush it. You're always going to have a better physique by doing less dieting, and so you're only ever going to improve if you wait a little bit more. So that's going to be it for today, guys. So just a little bit of a recap, some things that I've been thinking a lot of, and you know, looks like a potentially big new decision here as we start to move forward. That doesn't mean that we're going to be stopping these anytime soon. I'll probably be back next week. Probably talk a little bit of the training aspect of things, and then the following week we'll kind of just talk about where am I at physique wise, nutritionally wise, that kind of stuff, and we're just going to kind of keep things rolling. But if there isn't a whole lot going on, you might not see me for a couple weeks, but just know that I'm continuing to crush it. We're cruising along, we're eating food, we're gaining muscle, we're lifting heavy weights, and we're doing all the things that we need to do to be successful here. So thank you for watching, guys. Hopefully you were able to get something a little bit out of that, and you can think about dieting and all of that a little bit differently as well. So have a great week, rest of your week. Have a great weekend. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. We'll catch you next time.